Bruce's big call. Dinar Intel Thursday night, August 21, 25. Listen to the full version on the official dinarreport.com blog and become our supporter on Patreon. Transcribed by Wiser, now emailed to recaps, Intel only. Welcome everybody to the big call tonight. It is Thursday, August 21st, and you're listening to the big call. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Everybody that's catching the call is a result of our satellite team around the globe. That's wonderful. You can click on it and listen to us speaking in your own language in about 3 seconds after I say it. That's pretty cool translation. So thanks everybody for tuning in. Well, let's talk about where we are. Intel-wise. I tell you guys, I would address some of Judy's concerns. I'm going to do that. You know, in a minute, I just say Judy, I meant Jeannie's concerns. Okay, so I'm going to do that. But first I think I want to talk about the med bed scenario. The med beds, as Sue said in her segment, are things that our handler, my handler, has seen in person, has seen and put his hands on and touch and seen an actual person grow a brand new arm from the elbow down. And a brand new leg from the knee down, including foot. All of that happened totally within 33 minutes. Yep, and I think it's terrific. Now the military is still over it. It's still over all of the med bed centers here, and they will stay over it for a while. Eventually, when it's a little more considered mainstream, it'll probably be over civilian oversight, but for right now, it's all military. So he was fortunate to be invited to go check this out. Now there are a bunch of med bed centers. And I use the term centers because each one has 2 med beds in it, 2 med beds. So there are, gosh, I think the last time there's over 16,000 med bed centers in the United States might be more like 19,000. And there are between 8 and 9,000 mobile units, which is a med bed inside of an old UPS truck or an old FedEx truck, or in a box ambulance. You know, that there is a little bit of a distraction, you know, but that they've got them mobile, so they will be using those to get those to drive directly to, for example, old folks' homes. I don't want to say retirement centers such that, but, you know, rehab centers, places where people are just being taken care of. If they're not doing well, and maybe they can't even walk, they can't even get out of bed, they might be bedridden. Well, they'll figure a way to get you into the med bed, and then you'll come out walking. You'll come out a new person. That is really cool. I think I love it. Alright, so what I was going to talk about regarding the med beds is, number 1, get the med bed 100 if you have any inclination that you've either got something wrong with you or you'd like to add something to who you are. And the reason I say that is because the expression that came from our military contact was, don't ask if the med bed can do this or do that. The question is, what can't the med bed do that's pretty strong, you guys? What can it do for you? So I took that perspective, and I've done what I've planned to do. Written it in my mind on what to ask for, and all that good stuff. Now, what else about med beds? I was asked a question, those of you who are at this late hour, what about med beds in Africa? What about med beds in other parts of the world? My understanding yesterday was there are approximately 12,000 med bed centers in the dark continent of Africa. Well, 1,000's in the continent of Africa, but they're adding to that approximately 3 med bed centers a day. 3 med bed centers a day in a freak jam of frequent, okay, in Africa. Now, what about the other parts of the world? I know there are well over 10,000 med bed centers in Europe and in Asia. And there's quite a few exactly like that in India. And basically they're trying to get them built for total global coverage. Okay, well, no, they're not just in military bases. Military bases do have some, but a lot of these are in places you wouldn't suspect. And they don't want to say where they are yet. But when the time is right for us, and when do we find out? We find out when we go in for our exchange. We tell them if we have a dire need, and if you're a ZIM holder, you go to the head of the class. You go because they want those of that have projects to be around to see the projects to fruition, to completion. So you'll be able to get in there, let them know needs got situations need to be fixed in that when you're changing and redeeming your Zoom. And then they'll enter some keystrokes and they'll put you in the system. And then they'll probably let you know by either email or phone call when your appointment can be made to come in. Okay, now, as you guys know, I have limited vision. I'm low, not totally blind, okay, but I'm very low vision. So I'm looking forward to getting in for that, and for some things get in there. But what's cool is they are there. They're real, they work. They're not just being designed for something future. They're ready to go now. And I wish we could have gone in the med bed before the exchange. But it's not working that way. It's fast backwards. It doesn't work that way. And it's going to ask you. Ask a key. Doing what we're doing the right things for our physical and mental and spiritual body, doing the right things for our physical and mental and spiritual body. Okay, that's what we're gonna do in there, and then eventually get your appointment to get in there should be dire need, 2 or 3 or 4 days. Some of them, some people will, some of you people. Some of the rest of big all universe might be 5 or 6 days. In other words, it shouldn't take forever. Obviously, areas that are more concentrated with people, more populated would have a bigger demand if you're out of boonies, you know. You might have to drive 40 to 50 miles to get to a med bed center, maybe longer. But it could be worth it. Doesn't matter what the drive is, you can get there. So that's what I wanted to say about the med beds being available soon, but after we start exchanges, but they're there. They're real. They were, and that's phenomenal. They really are phenomenal. Alright, so I'm excited about that. I'm more excited about that than I am about the money. Way more about the med bed sale, about gazillions of dollars, but doesn't mean I won't enjoy both. Alright, so let's talk about what we have and don't have right now. You guys remember Tuesday night I got some intel right before I was going to deliver the intel segment. And it radically changed what I knew and what I could say and what I couldn't say. Tonight is no different, but I'm going to give you the ABCs of what is really going on behind the scenes. And this is why it is called ABC. What we're doing now is, you know, we got that peace agreement I talked about Tuesday between Russia and Ukraine. That was a key event to get that thing signed off on, and it was signed off Tuesday night 20 minutes before I got that phone call, right before my intel segment on Tuesday night. So here's where we stand now. They are still doing things to get the funding ready for the ABCs. What do you mean, ABCs? A stands for advances. Advances are people like CMKX, fines and penalties, adjudicated settlements, farm claims and other claims. Okay, that fall under that category. That's A, that's first. They're first. The next is B, that's bondholders, that's bonds, that's the next group as an entirety, as a group B, bondholders. The next group is C, guess what that stands for? Currency, currency holders. That's us. That's tier 4, A and B currency holders. So this is the A, B, C of the exchanges. What they're doing now is what they're calling the trades. The trades give them the opportunity to create the funds through trading programs. Create funds between that and the Saint Germain Trust funds and maybe the Rodriguez Trust. I don't know also, but I know Saint Germain. They take these funds and purchase instruments, gold-backed instruments, which we call bonds. Gold-backed bonds to back up lines of credit to pay out the actual ABCs with from the lines of credit there. I've told you now, because of that. Our intel that we had saying Wednesday, Thursday isn't true? Is it? It ain't happening yesterday or today. It's going to take a little bit more time. It doesn't take a lot of time, but it does take some time to set those lines of credit up, using these financial instruments. Roll back, bonds to back or to leverage the lines of credit. So I understand the concept of it all. It's a little bit intricate. It's not impossible, but I think that what I'm hearing, what I'm getting, is projecting us to be notified to get started around 29th or 30th of this month of August. Now let's talk about what else we know. And of course, I'll let you guys know on Tuesday if we progress, and if we have anything more to say about that, right? Because this is our Thursday night call. We'll get together on Tuesday, and we'll see where we are then. Now, what about September 1st? We understood that on September 1st, which is Labor Day, we have $150 trillion that should be going out, and whatever redemption center leaders told us he understood that to be our Doge payments. Or we'll use another term, our tariff rebate payments, okay. And they could be tariff rebate checks for some of this, as opposed to a direct deposit. Okay, should be either or. And there's also another term, which President Trump has used to describe it as a dividend, almost like a Doge dividend, and it's coming really from the tariffs that we're collecting. But you're turning into a lot of money now. But this money, this 150 trillion, I believe, is going to be our Doge payments to start the first week of September. Which really could start on the 1st, which is ready now. It might be announcement and payout a few days later, starting Monday. I don't know that. I just know the first week in September. We're supposed to get those Doge payments totaling around $150 trillion. Okay, so let's see what that looks like. Now I'm saying, and I told you guys this before previous calls, if we don't have a social security increase for the first week, people, meaning the first Wednesday, people of the month, guess what? It ain't happening that month. I don't believe that is going to happen if the first Wednesday doesn't see the increase, or the second Wednesday doesn't see the increase. And we've already had the third Wednesday, right? Didn't we? Yesterday? 20th. Well anyway, they didn't get their increase. So then it will come, but it may also come in September. We're having trouble connecting with our social security guys to know exactly when it is going to start. And listen guys, we've been missing for 3, 4, 5 months in a row, thinking that increase was happening. This one hadn't happened. It didn't happen, but I believe it's in the works to happen. I believe it's part of the big, bad, beautiful bill, as I call it, big beautiful bill. I believe the increases are in that, so we'll see what that looks like. That's the least of our worries, though, alright, so don't worry about it. It's going to happen. When it happens, R&R is still going to be there in our quantum account when we go in to do our exchanges and our redemption of ZIM. So if you're not doing that, your R&R could be a direct deposit, or it could be delivered as a check. I don't want an official check from the bank or from the US Treasury, could be an official US Treasury check. So we'll see how they decide to bring that out. And I don't know how soon that's coming out. I just know for those of us who are going in to exchange our currency and redeem our ZIM, it should be in our quantum account when we get there. Then we ask them about it. Hey, do I have my restitution, reconciliation already? My R&R, is it already in my quantum account? And dial that up. You get your quantum account going. They'll let you see whether it's in there or not like we have been told. So we will see how it goes. Obviously everybody wants to get this done. I want it at least done and started before the end of this month, before Labor Day. And you know, the other thing is, what about people that don't have currency? What about the people we in this country have 2.5 to 3 million people? Somewhere around 2.5 to 3 million people have foreign currency. It might be more, but that's the number that I've heard. Okay, let's say that's true. What about everybody else that didn't get to be part of this? What about them would have to take their Doge check? In other words, everybody's going to have money. It's going to be substantial, not just us. So it's a cover for everybody to be paid while we're going in to do these massive exchanges. Okay? But that's, I think, the most important thing that you could say about what's coming. Alright, let's do this. That takes care of everything I wanted to say in the way of information and now praying the call out. And first, before we do, I want to thank Sue and Bob. GCK. I want to thank Jeannie, thank Doug. Everybody for the satellite team for getting the signal out, for Big Call Universe for listening for 14 years. And I'd like to thank Big Call Universe and let's pray out the call. Alright guys, have a great weekend. We will talk to you Tuesday night. God bless. Take care. Listen to the full version on the official DinarReport.com blog and become our supporter on Patreon. Source: DinarRecaps.com.